Welcome to this lesson for assignment 9 in Algebra 2A. For this lesson, you're going to need a graphing calculator. You will need, we will discuss how to graph functions with a window, how to find a function when you are not given a window, and how to practice changing fractions and decimals on the calculator. So make sure you have your calculator out. What I'd like you to do is press the window button. It is a key in the top row. What do you see? Well, this is what you should see. Over here we have this window feature. Let me get a different color here. This is what you should see. It should say x minimum. If this wasn't here, that should be a negative sign. You'd see negative 10, x maximum 10, y minimum negative 10, y maximum 10. What that means is the x-axis is right here, and our y-axis goes up and down. So when it says the x minimum of negative 10, that means this value right here goes to negative 10 and stops. The maximum value goes all the way to the right. Right here, for the x maximum, it's at 10. The y minimum would be down here. That's at negative 10. And the y maximum would be at 10. So this window, this is where the window stops. If we change these numbers, then more tick marks would appear. If I change this x maximum to be 50, well, more tick marks would show up and we'd see a bigger screen going to the right. Let's try this. Let's graph y equals 2x plus 3x minus 6. So take your graphing calculator. You're going to press the y equals button right there. Then you're going to press 2. X button is right here located next to the green button. You can hit the squared button right here. Then you'll hit plus. Then we'll type 3. Hit the X button. Minus, located right there, 6. And we're going to use our standard window. So if you go back to the window feature, or if you go to the zoom button, if you click the zoom button, you'll see option number 6 here. If you select that, that is our standard window that allows us to see the x minimum negative 10, x max 10, y minimum negative 10, y maximum 10. It is always a good starting point to start with our standard window. So after you type in 2x squared plus 3x minus 6, you can hit the zoom button. Zoom button's right in the middle. Choose option 6, and it'll graph something that appears like this. Notice how we can see the entire graph on the screen. This is an appropriate window for such a graph. Let's try graphing y equals negative 1/2 x squared plus 3x plus 15. If you don't know how to type in a fraction, well, I know that negative 1/2 is 0.5, so let's hit the negative button. You have to hit the negative button right here. You cannot hit the subtraction sign. Hit the negative button and type in 0.5 x squared. So there's your x button, squared. And then you're going to hit plus 3x. I'm going to hit this button for my x. Then plus 15. Now the window setting, what we want is we want the x minimum at negative 5, the x maximum at 15, the y minimum at negative 10, and the y max at 20. So you're going to go to your window and you're going to change those values so that it looks like this. X minimum negative 5, x maximum 15, y minimum negative 10, and y maximum 20. Pause the video if you need a second to do that. After we do it, here's what we have. We see a graph. Looks like this. We get to see the whole thing. Well, this value right here we know is negative 5. That's the x left value, or the minimum. The right value, the maximum, is over here at 15. So we get to see from -5 to 15 on the x-axis. And on the y-axis, we get to see from -10 to 20. This is the minimum value, this is the maximum value. If you were given a problem such as this on the calculator, to graph this equation, you would type this equation in, use the window. So the x minimum hang on, sorry. So x minimum is the first value, then x max, it goes in order, then y min, and the y max is the last value. It goes right in order. And what you would do is you would draw exactly at what you see. So in my first screen, here's what I would try to draw. Looks like there are 4 tick marks. So I'd do my best. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4 in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got an extra one here that was supposed to go through the middle. And looks like it crosses at 3 here. So when I graph this, it's not the greatest, but I want to see the tick marks in the screen. So you get your assignment, use the whole screen, and try to copy exactly what you see here. Then I would change the window features to draw in my second screen. Same graph, 2 pictures. What happens when you type in the following window? If you typed x minimum is 8, x maximum 2, y minimum 5, y maximum -5. Pause the video, try that now. When you type this in, you get an error, and it says invalid DIM. DIM means dimension. Meaning, look at this, x minimum is +8, x maximum is 2. The minimum number is bigger than the maximum. Sometimes if you forget your negative sign, or if you mess this up, you will get an error. The minimum value always has to be the smaller number. The maximum value always has to be the larger. If we need to graph this function, y equals 2x squared minus 13, we need to find an appropriate window. We're going to start with standard window. If we started with the standard window, this is what would appear. Notice how we cannot see everything. So what I want to do is figure out which side to change. I need to go further down, so I want to change the y minimum. So when I go in, I want to change the y minimum. I'm just going to take a guess. It doesn't look like it goes much further. I know the y minimum right here is at -10. So I'm going to try -15. And guess what? Now I have an appropriate window. So my answer to this problem would be, I could write it in this form. -10, 10, that's the x minimum, x maximum, by the y minimum and y maximum. This would be an appropriate viewing window. Okay. If I want to type y equals 1/4 x squared minus 16, play around with the zoom button and find an appropriate window. Pause the video if you want to try that now. I'm going to reveal the answer in a second. So if I check it out, I start with the standard window. This is what I get. Again, I want to change the y minimum. So we always want to change where the graph could go. So if I change the y minimum, it's at -10. I got to go a lot further than probably 5 down. I'm going to try -20. And look what happens. The whole graph appears. To quickly change from fractions to decimals, you would hit the math button. Either select option 1 to change an answer to a fraction, or select option 2 to change it to a decimal. If you would like to try these on the calculator, please do so. I'll reveal the answers in a second, so reminder, pause the video so you don't see the answers right away. Here are the answers to number 1. You get 1.5 or 3 over 2. Pause it. Here's the answers to number 2. Negative 36.1875 or negative 579 divided by over 16 is the fraction. And the reveal for the third answer is 4.6 repeating or 14 over 3. If you struggled with this, make sure you call me over to get help.